Every season teaches us a little bit something, sometimes through success, and sometimes, like this year, through a little bit of chaos. Today we're each sharing 3 lessons that we learned in our gardens here in 2025. We've been doing this for 10 years now, and we're still learning a lot as we go. So, Rosita, why don't you take the first one?
So my first thing that I learned this year, that I've learned many times before, is that you have to stay ahead of the weeds. My trouble started last fall, when I planted 2 85-foot rows of peonies and did not mulch them. Now, I think you, Loranda, had told me that I'm going to regret it. And yeah, you're a prophet. I did regret that this spring, because in the rush of the spring season, I didn't get them mulched and like the path laid between them. And they grew up in weeds. And so I weeded them. I probably weeded them a total of 3 times over the spring, summer. My summer was a little crazy, so it wasn't, if I could have finished it in the beginning, but yeah, anyway. All that to say, I weeded it many times until I finally, I went section by section then. It was, I think, July when I decided to do this. And as I weeded it, I mulched it and laid a path between them. And then I would do another 5 and then another 5. So you've got to stay ahead of the weeds, or they just, especially in perennial beds.
Yeah, I mean, that's the lesson we learned many times in our old garden. And, you know, I told you to mulch it, but I had the same lesson. So I did mulch my peonies, but the mulch failed and the weeds just grew up too. So
Yeah.
It's been too long since the beginning of the season, so I forgot about the weeds, but
Yeah.
it was a very weedy year in my garden too. I've heard a lot of people saying that, like it was impossible to keep ahead of the weeds. And I think it's because a lot of the growing zones got rain, like during that time of the year. And
Right.
Disaster.
Yeah, we did have a ton of rain right at the beginning where I could have got things weeded. I also had one bed along the back of my garden that never got planted. And I mean, finally I think this was also in July, I took the trimmer to it and just like whacked it down to the ground and put black plastic over it. It's like, okay, I give up. It was so bad. So that's something I just really want to stay ahead of next year if I can.
So my first one is dahlias. And I actually had a really good dahlia year. I'll just show you. They're blooming now. They look beautiful, most of them. But I don't know if it's because we have sandy soil or what, but the minute they came up and they started blooming, they just started leaning. And I'm like, come on. I have them staked. You know, what's going on here? I came across somebody online that said that they plant their dahlias a lot deeper than what the recommended depth is. I didn't see how deep they planted them, but I think recommendation is 4 to 6 inches. Is that right?
Yeah.
Below the surface of the soil. And I'm thinking about trying to plant them 6 to 8 inches next year and seeing if that doesn't help. Just because that gives a lot more support to the stems as they're coming out of the tuber there, or the crown. I'm actually not planning to dig my dahlias this fall, but to compensate, I'm going to try to add, I have some really composted wood chips and then just extra mulch on top of that yet too, just to add depth on top. But I did learn that I should probably plant my dahlias deeper.
That's interesting. I've wondered about that already, because they're so fragile right there where they come out of the ground that it feels like if you give them a little more support, they would do better.
Right. And this person was saying they don't even stake their dahlias. They don't need to because they're so sturdy.
Wow.
I thought, well, it's worth a shot, worth a try.
Right. Another thing I learned this year is that I really, really like lisianthus. It's one of those that we've been growing for a while, but for the first, I don't know how many years we grew it, we always bought in plugs. And so they can be a little expensive if you do it that way. So I always felt like I had to use every single stem, get my money's worth out of them. But the last couple years, I learned how to grow them from seed myself. And so, yeah, I don't know. I love having them in the garden because they bloom for such a long time.
It's a really generous flower. Yeah.
Right.
It's forgiving.
Right. And then it lasts so long in the vase. It is a workhorse of a flower, and it doesn't take up much space. You do have to net it. I netted mine, but I'm not quite sure what happened because they're all kind of laying sideways now. One of my favorites this year was Roseanne Brown. I didn't think I liked it. We had grown it before, but it was such a pretty, I don't even know how to, sort of a mauve, but if it gets a little older, it sort of fades a little bit. I don't know. It's just a really pretty mid-tone.
Yeah. And Corelli. We also like the Corelli series. So that's funny because my next lesson is also to do with lisianthus, and it's just the simple one that you need to net it. Like, I don't know why I didn't. I just didn't. I was feeling rebellious at the time or something. They were standing so nice and tall, and I thought, oh, maybe they'll be fine this year.
Right.
They're never fine. You have to net them. Like, they will just instantly flop. Okay, I think it was because we didn't have a lot of rain. And if they're not rained on, they're a little, they stay upright a little better. But then it rained and they all flopped.
Yeah.
So don't be like me. Net every flower. Let's just not talk about all the others I didn't net either. But anyway, that's my second lesson. I learn it every year.
My third lesson is that irrigation is totally worth the cost and the effort to put in. I also had a really good dahlia year this year, and I'm pretty sure it's because of the irrigation. Most of Ohio had drought for like a couple months this summer, like there was no rain. And I very frequently watered my dahlias and pretty deeply, and they did the best they've ever done in this garden. I don't know, was it the water? I don't know what it was, because we had high temperatures this summer too. It was pretty hot there for a while, so I don't know. But I'm going to chalk it up to irrigation. I did get them in a little earlier this year as well, and after I divided them, I didn't let them sit around too long before I got them in the ground. So I feel like that's something I've done before, and it has worked out well, so I don't know.
Okay.
But irrigation, the beds I did not irrigate did not do well this summer.
And I have one more little tidbit on dahlias. Sorry, this is a bonus point.
Oh,
but you mentioning that you got them in the ground right away. I potted mine up and wanted to plant them, but something, it rained over the time or something. Then we went on vacation, and I just prayed that they would be okay. I put them on the porch and watered them. They were not okay. Like, my dahlias struggled to take off. So Rosita just planted her tubers straight in the ground, and I've decided from now on that's what I'm doing. You also said, you told me the other day, you did not fertilize your dahlias this year. Is that right?
No, not a one.
You haven't been fertilized, and they're doing fine. So, like, the conventional Florette would say that they're heavy feeders and you need to keep them fertilized. And I have actually tried to fertilize mine, and I was going to credit that with why they've done so well this year, but yours did good without it. So. I mean, that might depend on the soil too. Right,
and I've been adding compost every year. Like, I add an inch or so above the soil. I don't think I mixed any in this year, although I did work the beds a little bit and get some of the compost further down into the soils. I don't know if that helps.
So your soil probably is more nutrient rich than mine is too.
Yeah, I mean, it's clay soil, so it's going to hang on to stuff longer than sandy stuff for sure.
My third point is that I had an eggplant epiphany. I'm kidding. But I had a moment of weakness at the garden center, and I bought a 6-pack of eggplant. No, I can almost gag talking about it. I thought I liked eggplant. I've had eggplant parmesan one time. I do not like eggplant. I've learned that this year.
Oh, that's funny.
I might get to the place where I like it again. But so we had big, beautiful eggplant that just went to waste in the garden. My lesson, I learned this every year too. We talk about right-sizing everything. And you're allowed to experiment with new things. I guess that's what I'll call this, an experiment.
Sure.
But don't plant stuff you don't eat or flowers you don't want to use. I always have a little lesson like that every year.
Yeah, right.
I felt guilty about the eggplant all summer. And Myron's never had it, I don't think, so I didn't even try to cook it for him.
Yeah.
I finally pulled him out just the other day.
You should make baba ganoush. That's like the best stuff.
I know. I thought about that. Have you had that?
Oh,
that's Middle Eastern, right?
Yeah, I haven't made it myself, but I love it wherever I get it. I would say, I don't know if I like that better or hummus, but I love them both.
Yeah, I think Donnie knows how to make it. We'll have to get a recipe from her.
Yeah. So to summarize that up, for me, I have to stay ahead of the weeds. I love lisianthus, and irrigation is worth the effort.
And my summary would be plant my dahlias deeper and put the tubers right in the ground next year. Net my flowers, particularly the lisianthus, and don't plant eggplant ever again. We always love to hear from y'all what lessons you've learned, what went right in your garden or what didn't go so good. So feel free to leave us a comment below. We'd love to hear from you.